Okay, we're all ready to go with round 10 of the British Touring Car Championship here at Thruxton. We'll have rounds 11 and 12 live for you a little later, but now we can go over to our commentators, Tim Harvey, and first, Ben Edwards.
We're on the warm-up lap for the first race of the day at a sunny Thruxton circuit, and for the second event in succession, it's the youngest member of the Vauxhall team who'll be starting from pole position, and he celebrated his 21st birthday on Friday. Alongside him is championship leader Fabrizio Giovanardi, then Gordon Shedden on the second row with the third of the Vauxhalls up there as well. That's Matt Neal. Tom Chilton lines up in 5th place. Jason Plato in the diesel-powered Seat is 6th on the grid for this one, and he's got his teammate Darren Turner just behind him. He's in 7th place. Colin Turkington in the first of the BMWs. He lines up on 8th spot on the grid. Then it's Mike Jordan ahead of son Andy Jordan. So they're together on row 5 of the grid. Adam Jones is next up. Alongside him is Matt Jackson, winner here last year of the final race of 2007. Behind Matt Jackson, we've got Stephen Jelly and Stephen Kane. Then Harry Volkard and Rob Collard. Then Jason Hughes in his MG and John George. He's together on row number 9. Alan Taylor and Erkut are back on row 10. Then it's Gareth Howell making his first appearance in BTCC this year. He's with the BTC racing team. Michael Doyle's alongside him. Then we've got Martin Bell and Chris Stockton towards the back of the grid. So that's the lineup then for this first race of the day. We're in the heart of Hampshire, but Tim, we're at this fantastic Thruxton circuit, the fastest circuit we visit in British touring cars.
Yeah, average speeds of just under 110 miles an hour, and tyre management is always the key to the game here, especially as temperatures have increased since yesterday. The Dunlop guys, they set very rigid requirements for camber on the wheels and for tyre pressures at the start. The teams don't always adhere to that, but staying off the curbs at the chicane, particularly on the left front, is very important for the first 3 laps, and maintaining a good even pace throughout the race is also important, but we'll see some drop off towards the end of the race.
It's interesting you say stay off the curbs. I was watching qualifying yesterday, and I tell you what, Fabrizio Giovanardi, who's lined up on the front row, he used a massive amount of curb, but of course in qualifying you can get away with it.
You can, but you can damage tyres that you would then use in the race, so I wouldn't say everyone's going to get through this scot-free.
So it's the youngster on pole position. He's yet to win a race for Vauxhall. He took a win last year for Team RAC, but he had a superb Donington meeting with 3 podium finishes there. Could it be the opportunity for him to take his first win? Championship leader, though, alongside carrying maximum ballast. That's Fabrizio Giovanardi, the Italian, the reigning champion as well, lining up on the outside of the front row, and he loves this Thruxton circuit. Watch out for Gordon Shedden from behind as well, waiting for those red lights to come on. Lights out, away we go, and both front row men pretty even. I think Giovanardi's made the slightly better start, and Giovanardi going side by side with his young teammate into the first corner and trying to get the run through there, and Gordon Shedden trying to squeeze between them. Tom Onslow Cole now being forced out of the way by his team leader, and Gordon Shedden will go to the outside on the run into the Campbell-Cobb-Seagrave sequence, and it's Shedden who's taken the lead. And look, Jason Plato squeezing up there in the diesel Seat as well. Plato into 3rd place.
Yeah, fantastic start by Plato there, and I thought Giovanardi had the advantage. Onslow Cole spun the wheels up, but in fact it was Giovanardi who braked first for the complex.
It's the Scot Gordon Shedden, who's had 1 race fit already this year. He's ahead of Giovanardi, and then we've got Jason Plato. Great start, then Tom Onslow Cole. He's dropped down to 4th place after not getting off pole position so well. Top 2 beginning to draw away slightly here. Tom Onslow Cole being chased by Colin Turkington and then Matt Neal.
Yeah, close race at the start here. Watch for the BMWs later in the race. They can't get their tyres working as well in qualifying. They can't optimise the setup. Oh, that's Darren Turner off wide at Church on the first lap. The BMWs will come into the road later in the race.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on them, but for the moment, it's the Honda Civic Type R of Gordon Shedden for Team Halfords that leads this race, coming around to finish the first lap, chased by Fabrizio Giovanardi. Plato under pressure now from Matt Neal. Matt Neal looking for a little opportunity, I think, here to go through. Let's wait and see. It's Onslow Cole then still under attack from Colin Turkington.
It's Onslow Cole in 2nd. I thought I saw it correctly. Up to the complex on the first lap. It was actually Giovanardi that backed out of it, and Onslow Cole regained that 2nd place.
Right, well done to the youngster. So yeah, the pole man getting back into 2nd place. So looking at this, Shedden still leading, Onslow Cole in 2nd, then Plato, and then Giovanardi, then Turkington. We're riding on board with Colin Turkington. Gordon Shedden with a useful little advantage at early stages of this race. Turkington running 5th, then Matt Neal in 6th, Tom Chilton in 7th, Darren Turner in 8th, and then we've got the 2 Jordans running 9th and 11th at the moment. Mike Jordan in 9th, look at the cars through the fast section here.
Yeah, you could hear the car bouncing off the limiter on the approach to Goodwood, and now we're coming down to Church. If we stay on board, this is 125 miles an hour, right on the apex there.
So Gordon Shedden still under attack from Tom Onslow Cole. Plato with that diesel-powered Seat looking at a good top speed heading up towards the chicane here. They're touching nearly 150 miles an hour at this section of the circuit, then hard on the brakes, over the curves, but not too hard on the curves to protect those tyres, which are always under so much stress here at Thruxton. Across the line they go. Gordon Shedden then still with that edge of a Tom Onslow Cole, who's being told by his pit crew, look after the tyres.
Yeah, well, the first two guys were very clean through the chicane. They can take the right-hand curve on the way in, but it's the left-hand curve right in the middle they must hit. And both the first two cars avoided that, and then but the next three cars all hit that, and we're only on lap 3 now.
A couple of drive-through penalties have been announced as well in the meantime, so that's interesting. So maybe there were some jump starts or out-of-position starts. Alan Taylor, one of those from towards the back of the grid, and we'll have to see. I think Gareth Howell, yes, he's got one as well. So new boy back in the championship, Gareth Howell, but he's got a drive-through.
Yeah, a big moment for Gordon Shedden there, just coming through Noble. Front-wheel drive car. There's a little bump just on the apex there of Noble, and his car stepped out quite alarmingly, but he held it very well. But that'll have given Onslow Cole a little bit of enthusiasm to close up on the tail and put the pressure on.
Well, he is doing that. He's running no ballast at all, Tom Onslow Cole. There is a little bit of weight, 18 kilograms of success ballast on Gordon Shedden's car.
Actually, it's 9 kilos because both Gordon Shedden and Darren Turner were tied for points in 4th and 5th. So there was some debate whether they should have 9 kilos or 18, and they've actually ended up both carrying 9.
Well, that's the advantage for Gordon Shedden, and he won't be carrying so much. There's Adam Jones coming under some pressure there at the moment from Stephen Jelly. In fact, I think he might have just got past Stephen Jelly on that lap. Yes, he did. And you've got the two Jordans going against each other, father and son, virtually side by side. Great stuff. But at the moment, it's Mike who has the father who's the slight advantage over son Andrew, who was so impressive last time out.
Yeah, very impressive in practice and initial qualifying as well was young Andrew, but unfortunately he ran off a big moment at Church in qualifying, filled the front of the car with grass and broke the splitter. Up until that point he'd been running in 6th place, but then dropped down as he couldn't do any more laps. But yeah, that's a trust of love, isn't it, side by side through Allard on the first part of the lap.
Absolutely. Alan Taylor completing his drive-through penalty, so that's sorted out. Top two still about a second away from their rivals at the moment. Gordon Shedden from Tom Onslow Cole. Now, are they looking after those tyres sufficiently? Will they be in good shape later in the race? Plato running in 3rd, and the diesel Seat, and he just kicked up a little bit of dust, no major problem, but he is coming under a bit more pressure now from his big rival, Fabrizio Giovanardi. These two, of course, went at it hammer and tongs here at Thruxton last year for the outright title, and it was Giovanardi who took the advantage. You're looking from onboard Colin Turkington and Giovanardi ahead, and then Plato just ahead of him.
Yeah, very difficult for the Seat team to find a right balance for the car around here. Thruxton has its own peculiarities, and they thought they made a lot of progress at Donington, but they came here and they found they could either have a lot of oversteer or a lot of understeer, so very experimental setups on that car. But that car, the Seat Turbo Diesel, is the fastest car through the speed traps, both across the start-finish line and up through the sector out the back, up to 3 miles an hour faster, in fact, than Giovanardi, who's following him now. So this will be an interesting battle, because Giovanardi makes it up on the brakes and through the corners. And here, as you get down to the fast sections of the track, the Seat is a lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just watch them through here. This is where Plato may struggle with the heavier front end on that car, and that understeer that he was suffering. Giovanardi tries to close up, but right behind them as well is Colin Turkington in the Team RAC car. By the way, further back down the top 10, I know that Andy Jordan has now got into 10th ahead of Adam Jones and Mike Jordan, so there's been a bit of a change around at the bottom end of the top 10. Giovanardi still tracking the wheel tracks of the Seat of Jason Plato, but he's not close enough, and this is where, as you say, Tim, Jason has the advantage just enough that Giovanardi can't attack on the brakes into the chicane. Both of them just locking a front brake.
Yeah, well, Giovanardi will gain on the brakes, and he will gain on initially through the corners. Oh, and side by side, nearly just trying to get up the inside.
Yeah, still not there. So as they turn into Allard Corner, the first bend, it's still Plato in third, but the top two still looking good up front. Is Gordon Shedden looking for his second win. We've had 7 different winners in the British Touring Car Championship so far this year, and Fabrizio Giovanardi's the only driver to have taken repeat victories. He's had 3 wins, but he's still sitting there in 4th at the moment. You're on board with Tom Onslow Cole running in 2nd position here at the moment, right behind Gordon Shedden. Two of the younger drivers in British touring cars. Tom Onslow Cole only just turned 21, and we're going to swap now our onboard camera. We're looking forward to Shedden. Now we look back at Tom Onslow Cole.
Yeah, great shots as they lap this high-speed circuit, lapping at the moment at this point of the circuit well over 125 miles an hour, approaching 135 miles now on the run down to Church, and just a little lift. Look at the counter curve Onslow Cole takes.
Yeah, that's what you've got to be careful of, using too much curve in these stages of the race. Still relatively early stages here, little way to go yet. We're on lap 6 out of 16, up to the chicane. Look at the front of the car dipping under braking.
Yeah, both these guys have very strong engines. The Vauxhall traditionally had a strong engine. The Neil Brown engine in the Honda also a good engine. So very equal actually.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that the Honda power and the Vauxhall power seem very evenly matched up that hill towards the chicane. And third place battle still on, and Giovanardi might have gone alongside here. Look at that. Giovanardi's got the inside line now, but the Plato power there of the Seat Diesel just pulling him ahead. Now Giovanardi's got that line, surely. Plato will try and go around the outside. They clashed here last year. Plato holds the line and gets back in front and holds third place.
Well, Plato's been racing here a lot longer than Giovanardi has, and he knows that even if you've got a car on the inside on the approach to that Campbell section, Campbell-Cobb Seagrave sector, if you run round the outside, you'll have the middle line, the inside for Cobb.
And look behind, because Matt Neal has caught the back of Colin Turkington's Team RAC car, and then the other Seat is in there. That's Darren Turner, and he's chased by the race leader's teammate. Tom Chilton is at the back of this group in the second of the Team Halfords machine. So you've got a wonderful battle going on for third here. Plato just holding on at the moment through the rapid Church corner. Let's just take a look at a replay. This was an incident a moment ago.
Harry Volkard and John George,
yeah, Harry Volkard just sort of tagging John George in the middle of the chicane there. We're back to live action, and it's now the battle for 4th, because Giovanardi's been passed by Turkington, and Matt Neal's trying to get past Giovanardi, but sort of backs out of it. His teammate, he knows, he's fully aware that he doesn't want to take Giovanardi out, and Matt Neal was a bit cautious there.
Well, Jason Plato and Giovanardi battling on the last lap has allowed this group to close up, and now Turkington, if you remember, I said the BMWs would come into their own after about lap 8. Turkington's now getting the pace in his tyres, where the front-wheel drive car's starting to struggle, and he's moved past Giovanardi.
Yeah, good move that by Turkington. And there you are, there's Jason Plato, still third in the green and yellow Seat, but right behind him now is Northern Irishman Colin Turkington on a charge. And also, talking of another BMW moving up, Matt Jackson now up to 9th place, so he's gained a couple of positions over the last lap or so. Leaders come through, then the battle for third. There's Plato, followed by Turkington now. Colin Turkington, winner here in an MG a couple of years ago, and very fast in the BMW, but as you say, in qualifying they struggled. Now, at this stage in the race, as we've got to around the half-distance point, this is where the rear-wheel drive BMWs have looked after their tyres that little better, and they're on, putting the pressure on here.
Well, I saw a kick of dust there, and look, and Onslow Cole's in front. Onslow Cole's in front because Shedden has had a moment down at Church. Maybe he's got a puncture already. Yes, he is slowing down on the left of your screen there.
Oh, well spotted there, Tim. Yeah, it's Shedden in big trouble. He's trying to get back in. Look, it's that left front tyre. That's the one that always has the most strain on it here. And Shedden, well, he led for a while, but as we've seen here in the past, maybe just a bit too hard. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, he's run wide at Church, and he's off. Fortunately, he's run right off. Fortunately, he felt it on the way in. Was lucky not to get hit up the back by Onslow Cole at that point. He just felt it early enough to stop going really off the track. But this obviously ruined his race, and they'll have to think long and hard about their setup for race 2.
So it's a tyre change, a wheel change for Gordon Shedden. They'll send him on his way again, but this now is the battle for second place with Plato against Turkington, then Giovanardi, and Giovanardi still in the battle there. Right behind him is Matt Neal. So Tom Onslow Cole now has a 3.2 second lead over this group. It's a massive lead for the youngster, but he's got to feel a little nervous about the state of his tyres, having pushed Gordon Shedden in the early stages of the race.
Yeah, well, the damage is usually done in the first few laps by hitting the curb on the inside, as we mentioned. It doesn't actually cause a puncture immediately, but what it does is it causes a weakness in the sidewall of the tyre, which then, as the race goes on, becomes a puncture.
Well, that certainly affected Gordon Shedden. We'll wait to see whether Tom Onslow Cole can get away with it. Little lock-up on Plato's car. Battle for second place this, remember, you're riding with Colin Turkington, and the BMW runs a little wider out of the chicane. And now keeping the experienced Plato under pressure through the first corner. But as we saw, Plato's lines around this Thruxton circuit are exemplary. He knows exactly where to place the car. Watch him as he comes up to the first part of the complex. He leaves the door a bit open there, but there's not quite enough space for the BMW to nip past.
No, it's difficult to see where the BMW will have an advantage here, actually. The BMW very well balanced, but and Turner and Chilton side by side.
Yeah, Chilton briefly got past Turner.
Matt Jackson may get both of them.
Yeah, Matt Jackson, that white BMW, watch him, because he's been running in 8th place. I told you, he's on the move, and he is on the move. He's got past Chilton, and he might be able to get past Darren Turner in the second of the Seats here. Matt Jackson, winner of the final round at Thruxton at the end of 2007. He's on a charge.
He is, and Matt's trying to recover from two disappointing meetings. Remember, he left Brands Hatch at the start of this year, challenging for the championship lead, but had disappointing meetings at Rockingham and at Donington, and he's really trying to get his championship back on track.
Andrew Jordan is in the first of the John Guest cars, behind them in 9th. Then it's Adam Jones going well in his Seat, and then it's Mike Jordan, Stephen Jelly running 12th, then Stephen Kane. But keep an eye on this as Tom Chilton continues that pressure on Matt Jackson. Hopefully they keep it clean. They've had a tangle already this year. They want to stay clean, but they're through the chicane okay. And look at this again, Turkington attacking Plato for second position. Up front, it's still Tom Onslow Cole, leading now by 3.6 seconds.
Yeah, if you're wondering why Giovanardi hasn't challenged harder, don't forget he is carrying the maximum championship ballast, 45 kilos. And although this circuit actually is probably one of the easiest to carry weight because it's a momentum circuit, it's not a start-stop circuit, he's doing a typical championship run. He's running in 4th place, but expect him to run a lot quicker when he gets some weight off in race 2 and 3.
Riding with Turkington once again into the fast sweeping corners around the back of this 2.3-mile track that surrounds the airfield here at Thruxton. And again, you can see these cars absolutely floating on the limit. They bounce and float and slide. They're drifting all the way through these corners at 120, 130 miles an hour. Really takes a lot of judgment. And Giovanardi saying you drive this circuit more on the throttle than you do with the steering in some ways, balancing the car on the throttle through these fast corners. He's sitting 3rd of these 3 cars, but that means he's in 4th place overall because our race leader is way ahead of this group. Matt Neal is running in 5th place. Then there's a gap back to Darren Turner, but Matt Jackson also the man on the move and the one to watch. He's in 7th place.
Onslow Cole also has the fastest lap, not surprisingly, set early on lap 2 when the tyres were fresh, and that will worth an extra point as well.
Again, Turkington on the attack and almost squeezed onto the grass there into the turn 1 as he tries to get alongside Jason Plato. And this is giving Giovanardi another chance to join in. We're riding on board Turkington. Just keep an eye out for a Vauxhall in case Giovanardi goes for a lunge down the inside. He doesn't do it yet. Maybe he's saving it up for later in the race. Plato still holds on to 2nd place. Winner last time out at Donington. They really got this Seat working well in the medium speed corners at Donington, but it's a very different challenge here at Thruxton.
It is. Round these fast sections, as you were alluding to just now, it's all about subtle driver control inputs, gentle steering, keep light hands on the wheel, easing on and off the throttle and the brake so as not to unload and load up the car too violently. Really, really tricky to stay calm and smooth and relaxed when the car's floating around at 130 miles an hour.
Yeah, fantastic. It really is good to watch, and these guys on the limit. Jason Plato doing everything at the moment. He does love this Thruxton circuit. He's had some great results, including, of course, Seat's first ever win, which was here in 2004. They're still yet to win the driver's title, but they're pushing hard with the new diesel. There's the race leader. It is Tom Onslow Cole, driving beautifully at the moment, and he's staying off those curbs, which could be crucial. The other guy's using the curb a bit on the way into the chicane, but Onslow Cole just being steady. Here comes Turkington now. He might have the inside line. No, he's still not quite there, I don't think. Or is he? Yes, this time he does get alongside. And Turkington moves into second place. Can Plato fight back? That's the question. Or is he going to come under pressure from Giovanardi?
Plato's been struggling out of that chicane all race, hasn't he? He's always been coming under pressure as they cross the start-finish line. And that time, Turkington got enough of a run, got up the inside, and Plato left him room.
So take another look
Here we
at
go,
this.
through the chicane. Turkington gets a run. He uses the left-hand curve, which gives him more speed out. He times it to perfection to get immediately inside Plato, who then can't close the door completely. And although this first corner is flat out, it gives Turkington just enough of a run to hold it to the right-hand side on the approach to the complex.
Great move there for Turkington. Remember, he started down in 8th place, but he now finds himself in 2nd position, and Plato's still under pressure from the two Vauxhall Vectras right behind him of Fabrizio Giovanardi and Matt Neal. And the other man on the move, watch out for the white BMW in the background, catching up to Darren Turner, and that is Matt Jackson running 7th, currently back, there he is, just in the back of the group. We're looking at Tom Onslow Cole as he heads up towards the chicane, still leading the race, still the battle for second as Plato gets right up the back of the BMW on the approach at Woodham Hill towards that chicane. But again, this group is close, and here comes Giovanardi now with the chance perhaps to draw alongside the Seat. Can't quite do it.
Yeah, Plato using that top speed advantage on the run up to that chicane. The first lap he'd been passed by Turkington to try and fight back. Now Turkington's got a clear whole lap in front of him. I think that Plato won't be as close at the end of this lap, but that was his one chance to try and fight back, but Turkington kept the door closed.
Turkington is the leading independent in this race, remember, as well as being in 2nd place overall. Next independent is that white BMW of Matt Jackson, running in 7th, but putting Darren Turner under a huge amount of pressure. And the 3rd independent in the race currently is Andy Jordan. He's running in 9th place, just ahead of Adam Jones, then Mike Jordan and Stephen Jelly. But it's this little group that we're still watching. There's Jackson, very, very fast here at Thruxton, as we saw last year, and this is a good run coming from him here. You're watching from Darren Turner's Seat, but Matt Jackson almost getting alongside, having to take a slightly different line to normal.
Yeah, he's got no chance down there on the run down to Church, because the two Seats were the fastest cars through a speed trap just there at 132 mile an hour.
Impressive stuff from the Seats, and that diesel turbo engine giving them plenty of straight line speed, but it's the handling that's critical and the braking as well, and it's a little bit of extra weight that they've got to slow down as they come into the chicane, but he does it beautifully, does Darren Turner. Hopping over the curb a little bit is Jackson, but he keeps the pressure on. And then there is Giovanardi trying to get alongside Plato. Has he managed to? No, I don't think he has. Plato's able to shut the door on him, and they go through Allard Corner, tied together, but the same order. Plato 3rd, Giovanardi in 4th.
Yeah, Plato going very defensive now, really taking a tight line into the complex, which he hopes will give Giovanardi problems from behind.
Look at Jackson, he's managed to get through as we were riding with Darren Turner. The white BMW got alongside the Seat, and Matt Jackson has taken 6th place, and he might lose another one here as well. He might lose it to Tom Chilton in the background. Watch out for Adam Jones. Adam Jones has now got past Andrew Jordan, so he's going to try and tag on to the back of this group. But Matt Jackson made the move there, Tim.
He did, good move. The BMWs, as I say, very strong at the end of the race, just using their superior grip to carry momentum forward. And Adam Jones tagged onto the back of this group. He's done really well. Didn't expect to be that competitive here, but he's really done a strong race.
Now he'll be coming up this time to go on to his final lap, will Tom Onslow Cole, and the tyres so far looking good for the youngster to record his first ever win. Turkington still in 2nd place, Plato in 3rd, with Giovanardi still chasing him in 4th, Matt Neal in 5th, Matt Jackson in 6th place in the white car. Then it's Darren Turner, then it's Tom Chilton, followed by Adam Jones, and then Andrew Jordan and Mike Jordan following on. We're on to the final lap, and this could be history in the making with a new winner in British touring cars, in the Vauxhall at least. He's won in the past in the Team RAC car, but he's yet to take a victory for Vauxhall and in a front-wheel drive touring car, but so far so good. Let's just hope those tyres hold up.
I'm sure they will. He will be praying, he'll be feeling every minor vibration and trying to feel his tyres through the steering, but trust me, he will stay off all the curbs of the chicane as he comes up to take what will be his first Vauxhall win. He really kicked himself for not managing it at Donington, but he's driven an impeccable race here today.
He looks relaxed. He looked, you could see exactly what you were talking about, Tim, those little inputs on the steering wheel, not working the wheel too hard. And Tom Onslow Cole celebrated his 21st birthday on Friday, and surely he's going to make it a huge celebration by taking his first win for Vauxhall after that brilliant performance at Donington on the podium in each and every race at Donington last time out, just missing out on the victory. And it's Tom Onslow-Cole heading up the hill towards the chicane for the final time. His lead over 3 seconds. It's been an absolutely dominant performance. He chased Gordon Shedden in the early stages, but Shedden suffered the puncture. Tom Onslow-Cole has looked after his tyres perfectly, and it's victory for Tom Onslow-Cole and for VXR. The Vectra takes it. Second goes to Colin Turkington, with third place going the way of Jason Plato. Giovanardi in fourth, then Matt Neal in fifth. Oh, the two Jordans side by side across the line, and it was Mike Jordan who managed to get the advantage there. So Mike Jordan finishes in 10th ahead of Andrew Jordan. A fantastic race. So all the way down to 10th place. We've got the radio on board with Tom Onslow-Cole, so we'll have a chance to speak to him in a moment. There's Gordon Shedden finishing in 16th, I think it's going to be, the man who suffered a puncture earlier on in that race. He comes across the line 14th in the end. Let's see if we can hear from Tom Onslow-Cole, winner here. This is Ben in the commentary box to Tom. Well done, Tom. How does that feel?
Yeah, that's a brilliant result for us. We played it very well. I think got the team to thank a lot there for the efforts they put into getting this car through the end of the race with that kind of pace as well. It was fantastic.
Were you worried when you saw Gordon have a puncture that you might suffer the same fate?
Not too much, to be honest. This is something we worked on a lot yesterday, and I think we were fairly confident we had a good race car. And we were lucky to have a really decent gap after the first few laps, so I could just kind of preserve the tyres and bring it home.
Well done, Tom. Many congratulations. Well done indeed, and he looks so cool and calm. Let's just check that result. It's Tom Onslow-Cole who takes victory from Colin Turkington for Team RAC, and the Seat of Jason Plato third, ahead of the two Vauxhalls of Giovanardi and Matt Neal. Matt Jackson fought up to 6th place ahead of Darren Turner. Tom Chilton was 8th. Adam Jones finished 9th in the Team Air Cool Machine, and Mike Jordan took the final point in 10th.